You and I both know that a female taking male hormones doesn't sound like a brilliant idea, but women everywhere, every day, are consuming anabolic steroids at concerning levels and at concerning frequencies. I think it's fair to say that this is sort of a weird area of 2025 that not many people are talking about outside of this channel. Women everywhere are exposing themselves to massive amounts of steroids that are altering their bodies for the rest of their lives before they even know what they're doing. And today we're going to talk about a case of this exact situation unfolding in a person that maybe never knew the consequences of their actions. This is IFBB Pro Abby, and she's a obviously jacked ass female in the Philippines doing bodybuilding in real time. She is a pro athlete and an IFBB Pro card winner. That in the realm of bodybuilding is a extremely big deal. This is extremely important. Once you get the IFBB brand on your name, you become a reputable source of information. You become somebody who can actually viably make money from the sport of bodybuilding, which, unlike before, is basically impossible. Now you have at least a foot in the door. Now, Abby is definitely someone on the fringe of bodybuilding. She's looking to be one of the bigger female competitors in the space, looking to be a woman's bodybuilder. And so the amount of compounds that she's taking is the furthest end of it, honestly. It's probably the most that you will see a female taking in the sport. I'm sure there's many females who will prove me wrong, but at least in what we're talking about now. Also, you might notice that the background is entirely different. I'm traveling for the holidays, so trying to find myself out here or something. I don't even know anymore, bro. Just existing in neutrality. And you can tell there's a few things going on with the physiology of her that is abnormal for most females. Starting with the obvious receding hairline that is worse than my own as a female. And it's no surprise in this situation that she's also using AI in many of her photos to enhance her looks or completely fabricate them, because a lot of the time these gals are not so happy with the way that their body and physiology has become shaped after years and years, sometimes decades of androgen exposure. Now, androgens, for those who are a little bit more unaware, are the drugs that bodybuilders usually are going to preference in getting bigger. These are anabolic androgenic steroids, the things that you'll see in a syringe going into an ass cheek, or a 17-alkylated version of it is an oral steroid. So these would be like Anavar, Anadrol, Winstrol, so on and so forth. Different mixtures, but the same concept. They work on the androgen receptor, they initiate androgenic cascades, leading to secondary male characteristic development within women, and in men, a lot of physiological changes just the same. One of those unique changes is obviously building lean mass and building bone mineral density, but the others are not necessarily so desired. They just come with the use of these things. Now, someone like this didn't always look like this. And when you peel back years and years and years of steroid exposure, training, high carbohydrate diets, high protein diets, the lifestyle and all that comes with it, drugs that are beyond steroids, ancillary compounds, peptides, growth hormone, insulin, you name it. When you go back, which I did, 13 years. This woman has almost been competing every year, every other year. She's been going all the way from the Philippines to America to go to the world's biggest bodybuilding competitions and get pictures with her favorite athletes almost every year. And to conceptualize this, that is a lot of money from someone in this part of the world. It's impressive. It's dedication. It is fucking hard work is what it is. But at the beginning of all of that, 13 years ago, this gal was just a mom going to the gym, trying to be healthy, and looking decent. She's someone that cared greatly about her family and posted about them more than she ever did her own self. She looks young and she looks healthy. She looks capable. And it seems to me, at the very least, from the young mother who was posting magazines with women posing and highly muscular in them, who was experimenting in the gym and publicly posting about it, who was showing up pretty muscular and developed, and eventually traveling to America to see all of the phenomenal bodybuilders, and furthermore expanding into competing and stepping on the stage of NABA, Natural Federation, to then finally stepping on the stage of the NPC and trying to get her pro card to then going to the Olympia to potentially be an actual competitor. I mean, an insane amount of work and transformation has gone on to this. It's something that she was very clearly dedicated to do from the very beginning of everything. And when you have a desire like that, there's almost nothing that can stand in your way. And I'm sure you felt very similar with a lot of different things that you have done. But the part that's so condemning, the part that's so difficult about all of this is the fact that she's transformed her entire body to follow this dream. And I always have to ask the question, is this something that the earlier version of her would have actually wanted for herself? And the answer is hard to say because we're not her, but I sometimes would like to believe that it probably wasn't something that they wanted. At a certain point, you get so far down beyond the path that turning back is just going to take you the longer way anyways. So you might as well just keep going and commit. And what I wanted to really use this video to talk about was main problem with steroid exposure in women and some of those realized side effects after being exposed to them for a decent amount of time. Now, one, and I think the most important, is that, again, as you go down this path, there's a certain point where the path to return is just wildly long. It's far longer than just continuing forward. And in a sense, meaning that you're too committed. And you're not going to be able to come back from that like you think you will be able to, especially women, When you start taking anabolic steroids, undoubtedly, there is going to be permanent changes to your body. Physiologically, you will experience secondary male characteristic development. Why is this happening? Well, as these steroids bind to androgen receptors and work their magic, they, build muscle and bone mineral density, but they also cause other not so great effects. Of course, the cloud cover's coming on, brother. Hell yeah, dude. Gotta love variable lighting when you don't have an office space. But beyond the bone mineral density and the lean mass, there's so much more at hand here. For one, you have hair loss, hair follicle miniaturization, because androgen receptors, big brain blast here, are all over your body. They're in every organ, every tissue, and they're not just exclusive to muscles. So yeah, some of those androgens that you're injecting or orally consuming go to your hair follicles. And after a while, the androgen exposure begins to shrink that pore and calcify it, harden it, until it gets to a point where the pore is so small it can't sustain the life cycle of a hair follicle and the hair dies. It's incapable. What also happens is because of that calcification, the surrounding area is incapable of receiving nourishment, blood, oxygen, and more. And so furthermore, you inhibit hair growth from ever happening again in that localized area. That's just one thing, and it's why we see this gal show up with so much hair loss after a decade of use. But what's more is multifactorial. There wasn't really any good or great audio clips. Editor, if you could find one, throw it up here.
What got you started into bodybuilding?
Oh, it was just a hobby for me, going to the gym every day. And then until, I started trying out to compete local here in the Philippines. And then that's it, until I got my pro card. Locally, I started with figure with a different federation. And then I started competing with women's physique category with IFBB Pro League, which is first was the Global Classic in Macau, and then Sean Rodden here in the Philippines, and then Muscle Contest Philippines. 2019 when I got my pro card. Back in 2023, I was supposed to do my pro debut, but there was a family matter, so I had to step back.
How long have you and your husband been together?
Oh, we're married for 25 years.
Has he ever been inspired to go to gym with you?
No. It's just supportive. For the opposite. Well, I'm very thankful for my husband and my son. Very supportive.
You are an athlete. You found your passion. You enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I do. I do enjoy it. But sometimes, it's just hard for me. Like, people would look at you, they don't, what is she doing to her body? Such things like that. But I don't mind.
It's going to be obvious by far now that her voice is going to be far deeper than an average female, an average gal within the same age bracket of 35 to 40. Yes, 35 to 40. That's not 60, not 55, 35 to 40. goddamn everything that's holy. I give up with this lighting, you guys. This is terrible. Please forgive me. The video is not going to be the best of the lighting, you know what I mean? But beyond this, okay, so we have that one mechanism. The second that we often see is facial aging and generally skin aging. Now, what happens is when you're taking androgens, you do really kick up cellular production. Cells turn over so much faster and they reproduce faster. I mean, you build muscle faster, but as a byproduct of that, you know, matter can't just be created, it's a process, right? And the byproduct is oxidation. It is, in essence, inflammation. And what happens in your body is you eventually develop a point where inflammatory markers are climbing, and your skin reflects that through its impaired regeneration and elasticity and continues to reflect that until, you know, one day you hopefully stop. I've showed my side-by-sides before and the comparisons in between my steroid usage and my being off now and how different my face has truly become just from getting off of steroids. The oxidative stress is exceptionally high. You are basically taking an engine that's a, you know, 4-cylinder, and then you're getting a V12 Ferrari engine and you're crossing your fingers and hoping that you maintain the 34 mpg that you were getting with the 4-cylinder, but you're not too happy when you see 4 miles per gallon on average on the dashboard. It's exactly what's happening here. You burn more fuel, you have more byproducts, you're inefficient. And we can keep going. The clitoral enlargement is a real thing.
Big vagina? Gigantic vagina.
You have these sort of sexual dimorphic traits when you're born, and in part those traits are given to you by the expression of hormones in the womb. Testosterone, males. Estrogen, or lack thereof testosterone, women, right? And you develop in the womb sexually dimorphic based on those hormone exposures. Now, you take an adult and you expose them to massive amounts of male hormones, those sexually dimorphic traits are gonna get a little bit more fluid. And so clitoris is gonna maybe turn into a little bit more of a, why do I feel weirder saying this than clitoris? Penis, I guess, jeez. Not really, but kind of, just don't worry about it. I mean, worry about it, but just don't, you know what I'm saying? There's so much more, right? And I think what's important to talk about, and the reason I make a lot of these videos, and hopefully you find them a little bit entertaining, is the fact of women are transforming themselves into males without even understanding what they're doing. A lot of the times a gal will start her steroid cycle because of a boyfriend's advice. She has no idea what she's even taking. The amount of times that I've actually heard a gal I'm talking to via email, Instagram, whatever the case might be, say, oh my God, you said this in this video and this happened to me. And it turns out to be a boyfriend who was giving her weight loss pills, and it was really a very high dose pill of Anavar, and completely after 8 weeks ruined her hormonal functioning. You know, she doesn't have menstrual cycles anymore. She's growing facial hair. She thinks she has PCOS, but really she's just being virilized into space because of an abundance of steroid uses that she doesn't even know is taking place. I mean, the amount of times that generally happens is crazy. Or other situations that I've talked about and will continue to talk about is coaches who don't educate their clients and just give them the drugs because, hey, it's part of my coaching package, and ultimately those drugs convert that female into a male and she didn't know it. So what does she do? Well, has to commit now because she's already so far down the hole. You know, the clock is ticking, so to speak, with the rabbit, and you know, she's on her way to become hopefully an IFBB Pro, hopefully make some money from this gig. I would say probably fairly enough 99.8% of IFBB Pros / NPC competitors do not make money from anything they're doing. So most of it comes with no reward outside of personal satisfaction and personal development through the hardships you have to experience. The genesis of a lot of the overexposure to steroids is mainly because of ill-informed gals doing this stuff. Now, is there a better alternative? Is there a world out there where girls don't have to be blasting Anavar to get the results they want? I don't know, dude. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and I talk about it to exhaustion in my videos. Use peptides, use things like metformin, use clenbuterol, use other tools that this mother son, dude, I'm gonna go actual ape shit right now. This is crazy. Look.
Praise the sun!
The amount of tools that are out there that a gal can use is immense, without any secondary male characteristic development. Growth hormone is a great example. No male characteristics, no deepening of the voice, no clitoral enlargement, no hair loss, none of that. But lean mass gain, pretty sweet, pretty cool, pretty innocuous. Innocuous. You guys say I say that word wrong a lot, okay? It's not innocuous, it's innocuous. whatever. And point is, it's not nearly as dangerous as taking 20 milligrams of Anavar a day. Now, are you going to get to IFBB Pro levels of physique? Probably not, but honestly, like, is that the path you want for yourself? If it is, then I can kind of justify a little bit of androgen exposure, but is that actually the path you want for yourself? And you need to be able to quantify that in a scale that is 5-10 years, because it's not going to happen in a year. And the path after you get that IFBB Pro card, what is that? Define that. What do you want that to look like? Because unless it's competing in bodybuilding continuously for the next 10 years, blasting a ton of steroids, changing your physiology for the rest of your life, and completely morphologically becoming more akin to a male than a female, hard sell.
You need to leave.
You know what I mean? Hard sell. But no one's telling anybody that. Everyone wants to glorify, oh, bodybuilding's been great, bodybuilding's been good, it's given me everything I got, it's awesome. Sure, college is great too, people get put into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, it's given them everything they've got, it's all good and dandy, but they're still unemployed at the end of 8 years. I don't know if that's necessarily beneficial, but the point being, you can say something is beneficial and even believe it with all of your heart, but sometimes, logically speaking, when you put it on paper, the benefit is hard to extrapolate. I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I talked way too much. I hope you have a great weekend and had a good holiday season. We're rhyming. And if I could blend that into some kind of way to say subscribing, I think I just did it. You should do it by clicking the button and getting on vibing. That was pathetic, but it's my pity subscribe begging mode activated. So it does help a lot. We're trying to get to 100K around here. It does help a lot.
I hope you had a great weekend and had a great holiday season. We're rhyming, and if I could blend that into something that's subscribing, I think I just did it. So you should do it by clicking the button and get vibing.